Beneath the vibrant cityscape of Manila, an invisible force is at work. The ground is straining, holding its breath, an ominous silence that feels like the calm before a devastating storm. The city's millions go about their daily lives, unaware that the earth beneath them is quietly preparing for a moment that could change everything. Far below the surface, scientists are vigilantly tracking the Manila Trench, a colossal underwater fault line stretching for hundreds of kilometers. This geological giant is nearing its breaking point, and its potential for destruction is almost unimaginable. The trench is a sleeping monster, its movements subtle but relentless, shaping the fate of the region. At urgent news conferences, experts issue stark warnings. A mega-thrust earthquake, possibly reaching a magnitude of 9.5, is not just possible, but inevitable. Seismologists pore over data, their faces etched with concern, knowing that the question is not if, but when. This isn't a distant, abstract threat. It's a looming catastrophe that could strike at any moment, putting millions of lives at risk. The anxiety is palpable in some neighborhoods, where families exchange uneasy glances, aware that their world could be upended in seconds. Yet, for most residents, the danger remains hidden beneath their feet. Life continues as usual. Commuters hurry to work, children play in the streets, and the city pulses with energy, largely oblivious to the ticking time bomb below. Tonight, we embark on a journey into the science behind the threat, the risks that lie ahead, and the urgent questions that demand answers. Is Manila truly prepared for what's coming? And if not, is the world ready to respond to a disaster of this scale? The potential for a humanitarian disaster is not just theoretical, it is real, immediate, and deeply concerning. Emergency response teams are training, aid workers are preparing, but the scale of the challenge is daunting. The Manila Trench has been eerily quiet for centuries, its silence stretching across generations. But this quiet is deceptive, masking the immense forces building up below. History has shown that such silence often precedes catastrophe. Tectonic stress has been accumulating, like a massive spring wound, tighter and tighter with each passing year. The plates beneath the ocean floor are locked in a relentless struggle, their energy growing with every small shift. When that spring finally snaps, the energy released will be immense, enough to shake the city to its core and send shockwaves across the region. The devastation could be swift and overwhelming. The resulting earthquake and tsunami could devastate not just Manila, but vast stretches of the Philippine coastline. Entire communities could be wiped out in minutes, leaving behind a trail of destruction and heartbreak. For Manila's millions, the threat is not some distant possibility. It's a geological certainty. The city's future hangs in the balance, and every day without preparation increases the risk. Yet, daily life continues. Markets bustle, children laugh, and families gather. The danger often ignored or misunderstood. The disconnect between scientific warning and public awareness is stark. This report aims to bridge that gap, translating complex scientific data into urgent, understandable warnings. It's a call to action for everyone, residents, officials, and the global community. The time to prepare is now. Civil defense drills are underway, families are assembling emergency kits, and communities are beginning to take the threat seriously. But is it enough? The science is clear, the history is terrifying, and the risk is growing with every passing day. Past earthquakes have left scars that still haunt survivors, reminders of nature's power and unpredictability. The city's fate hangs in the balance, watched by a world that cannot afford to look away. Global news outlets are sounding the alarm, urging action before it's too late. The silence before the storm is deafening, a tension that lingers in the air, a reminder that disaster could strike at any moment. We must listen to the warnings, understand the risks, and act decisively. Community meetings and scientific briefings are more important than ever. The warnings are louder than ever, flashing across screens and echoing in the halls of government. The message is clear. Time is running out. The ground beneath Manila is not stable. It's a ticking clock, counting down to an event that could reshape the city forever. This is more than just a call to awareness. It's a plea for preparation, for action, for resilience in the face of overwhelming odds. The future of millions depends on what we do next. Together, we can face the threat, prepare for the worst, and hope for the best. The time to act is now, before the silence is shattered. Manila pulses with relentless energy, a city of dreams, chaos, and resilience. Jeepneys weave through traffic, markets buzz, and skyscrapers rise beside colonial walls. By day, the city is a blur of commerce and culture. By night, it glows with neon and music. Families gather, friends celebrate, and life spills into every corner. People from across the Philippines come here, building lives and communities. Manila's greatest strength is its people, their optimism, hard work, and hope. But this density, this concentration of life is also its greatest vulnerability. Millions live, work, and dream here, unaware of the threat offshore. The city's vibrancy masks a profound risk. Manila is alive, but it stands on fragile ground. The city's future depends on recognizing the danger beneath its feet. Beneath Manila's vibrant, bustling streets, where life pulses day and night, a hidden danger quietly lurks, unnoticed by the millions who call this city home. Far below the surface, out of sight and mind, lies a silent, invisible threat, the Manila Trench, a deep scar in the ocean floor that holds the potential for unimaginable destruction. Just 100 kilometers offshore, two massive tectonic plates, the Eurasian and the Sunda, are locked in a slow, relentless struggle. Their movements imperceptible to us, but powerful enough to reshape the land. The Eurasian plate pushes steadily against the Sunda plate, building up immense stress over decades, even centuries, as the Earth's crust bends and warps under the pressure. This is what scientists call a subduction zone, a place where the oceanic crust is forced to dive beneath the Philippine archipelago, disappearing into the depths of the Earth. As the plates snag and grind, pressure builds silently day after day. Eventually, the rocks can no longer hold, and something must give. Imagine a spring being wound tighter and tighter, storing more and more energy. When it finally snaps, the release is sudden and catastrophic, unleashing forces beyond imagination. The result is a mega-thrust earthquake, the most powerful and devastating type of earthquake known to science, capable of leveling cities and changing coastlines in an instant. Manila, with its millions of residents and towering buildings, sits directly atop this loaded spring, its very foundations temporary in the vast scale of geological time. Every single day, pressure continues to build beneath the city, unseen and unstoppable, as the Earth quietly prepares for its next move. This threat isn't a myth or a distant possibility, it's the very real mechanics of our planet at work, studied and monitored by scientists who know what's at stake. The fate of Manila is tied to these colossal forces, set in motion millions of years ago, shaping the land and the lives of everyone above. The question is not if this energy will be released, but when. Time ticks on, and the city waits, often unaware of the danger beneath their feet. Manila's future depends on understanding and preparing for this hidden danger, because knowledge, awareness, and readiness are the only defenses against the forces that shape our world. The Manila Trench is a ticking time bomb, stretching for hundreds of kilometers along Luzon's coast. Here, the oceanic crust is forced beneath the Philippine mobile belt, storing energy year after year. The trench's northern segment has been silent for over 400 years, a seismic gap that alarms scientists. The longer the fault stays locked, the more powerful the eventual quake. A megathrust event here would displace massive volumes of water, generating a tsunami with little warning. For Manila, the first wave could arrive in under an hour. GPS, seismic imaging, and computer models all point to the same conclusion. The trench is primed for disaster. The science is clear. This is not speculation. The region is in a state of ominous preparation. The countdown is underway, measured in geological time. When the Manila Trench ruptures, the devastation will be swift, merciless, and utterly overwhelming. In a matter of seconds, the city's fate will be rewritten as nature unleashes forces far beyond human control. The ground will shake violently for what feels like an eternity, far longer and more intensely than ordinary earthquakes. Buildings will sway, windows will shatter, and the very earth beneath the city will seem to come alive with terrifying power. In Manila, a city built on soft, unstable soil, the shaking will be amplified dramatically. Skyscrapers and homes alike will be at risk as the ground liquefies and swallows entire structures. Dust and debris will fill the air, turning day into night as buildings collapse all around. Offshore, the earthquake's epicenter will trigger a massive tsunami, sending shockwaves through the ocean and setting off a chain reaction of destruction. Towering waves, possibly reaching 10 meters or more, will race toward Manila Bay. The unique shape of the bay will funnel and amplify the tsunami's force, focusing its energy directly onto the city's vulnerable waterfront. The city will have only minutes, not hours, to react. Sirens will blare, and panic will sweep through the streets as families scramble to find safety, desperately trying to outrun the oncoming waves. Seawalls, built to protect, will be overwhelmed in moments. Historic districts will vanish beneath the floodwaters, and low-lying neighborhoods will be obliterated, leaving nothing but devastation in their wake. The port, vital to the economy of Asia and a lifeline for the Philippines, will be destroyed, crippling trade and cutting off essential supplies. Millions of people, especially those living in densely packed urban poor neighborhoods, will be at greatest risk. With little protection and few resources, they will face the brunt of the disaster. Infrastructure will fail on every level. Power lines will collapse, water mains will burst, roads will be impassable, and communication networks will go dark, isolating survivors from the outside world. In the aftermath, survivors will face chaos and desperation. Clean water, food and shelter will be scarce, forcing families to huddle together in makeshift camps, uncertain of what tomorrow will bring. Hospitals will be overwhelmed within hours, unable to cope with the flood of injured. Aid and rescue teams will struggle to reach the city, hampered by destroyed roads and ongoing aftershocks. The scale of human tragedy will be staggering. Families torn apart, entire communities lost, and a city left reeling from unimaginable loss. In just minutes, centuries of pressure will erase the foundations of modern life, reducing a vibrant metropolis to ruins and memories. Recovery will be a monumental challenge, requiring unity, resilience and hope as Manila faces the long road to rebuilding from the ashes. Metro Manila is dangerously unprepared for a megaquake. Many buildings, especially in older and poorer areas, were built before modern seismic codes. Unreinforced concrete and hollow blocks will shatter under intense shaking. Infrastructure, roads, bridges, rail lines will collapse, paralyzing the city. Underground, ruptured pipes will spark fires and disease. The city lacks a robust tsunami warning system. Minutes of warning may be all that's possible. Extreme population density compounds the risk. Over 14 million people, many in the most vulnerable areas. Evacuation will be nearly impossible amid chaos and destruction. The city's strengths, its people and density, become its greatest weaknesses in disaster. Manila's fragility is a recipe for catastrophe. We've seen this nightmare before. In 2004, a magnitude 9.1 quake off Sumatra triggered a tsunami that killed over 230,000 people. Entire communities vanished, and the world learned the cost of unpreparedness. The tragedy led to new warning systems, but the lesson was clear. Without education and alerts, death tolls soar. In 2011, Japan, renowned for preparedness, faced a magnitude 9 quake and tsunami. Despite strict codes and drills, over 18,000 died, and nuclear disaster followed. Even the best prepared nations can be overwhelmed by megathrust events. Vertical evacuation and high-ground refugees prove vital. If Japan struggled, what hope does Manila have with fewer resources? The parallels are chilling. The past is a warning Manila cannot afford to ignore. Preparedness is the only defense. Manila's collapse would shake the world. The port of Manila is a global trade hub. Its loss would disrupt supply chains worldwide. The Philippines supplies a quarter of the world's seafarers. Shipping would grind to a halt. The economic shockwaves would hit Asia, North America, and Europe. Millions of overseas Filipinos would face tragedy, and remittances would plummet. The South China Sea's strategic importance would draw in global powers for relief and security. The disaster would reshape alliances and economies for decades. The human toll would be felt in every corner of the globe. Manila's fate is not just a local crisis, it's a global emergency. The world must be ready to respond. This is not just a warning, it's a call to action. We can't stop the earthquake, but we can save lives through preparation. Manila needs a state-of-the-art tsunami detection system and relentless public education. Every citizen must know the warning signs and evacuation routes. Regular drills and emergency plans are essential. Building codes must be enforced and critical infrastructure retrofitted. Urban planning must prioritize safety and vertical evacuation centers. These are investments in survival, not expenses. International cooperation is vital. Neighboring countries and global powers must help. The time for complacency is over. The time for action is now. The future of millions depends on what we do today. We must heed the warning before the silence is shattered forever.